If you'd like to learn how to make this delicious vegan breakfast or lunch recipe, please keep watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be making fried green plantains, which is also known as tostones, and we're going to be making stewed chickpeas, which is also called garbanzo beans. So in the stewed chickpeas, we're going to use onions, tomato, scallion, and scotch bonnet pepper. So I personally like heat, so I'm going to use the whole scotch bonnet pepper, but this step is optional. You don't need to add any scotch bonnet pepper if you don't want to, or if you do add some, you can add a little bit and you can take the seeds out if you don't like spice. So I'm just going to be cutting up the onions in medium-sized pieces. You don't want to cut it up too small, but you also don't want it too big. So just some medium-sized pieces, and I'm also just using half of the onion. And I'm also going to cut up the tomatoes in medium-sized pieces as well. And I'm going to use the whole tomato. And for the scallions, I'm going to be cutting up this in small pieces. And I forgot to say, but also we're going to use about 2 sprigs of thyme in this recipe. So next we are going to cut up the fried green plantains, and for this we just want to be careful. We want to keep the skins intact as possible because I'm going to show you how we can use it later on in the process. So I'm just taking the skins off carefully, then I'm going to set it aside. After I take off the skin, there's probably going to be some remnants left over, so then you can use the knife to take that off. And I'm going to cut this up in about medium-sized pieces, medium to large-sized pieces. You can cut it up smaller if you'd like, but I personally like the fried green plantains to be a little bit bigger after it's fried. But if you like the smaller fried green plantains, you can definitely not cut it up this size and do it at whatever size you'd like. So after everything is cut up, we want to set it aside and we want to open the can of the garbanzo beans and we want to rinse it out completely and set that aside. So now that we have all of our ingredients prepped, we're just going to come over to the stove and I'm just going to show you all the seasonings that we're going to use. So this is the drained chickpeas that I'm going to set aside. We're going to use some garlic powder, some black pepper, some adobo, some salt. We may or may not use salt, but this is optional. It depends, but we're going to taste as we go along. I'm using olive oil and minced garlic. I'm also going to use ketchup. So for the recipe, I'm going to be putting about 4 tablespoons of ketchup into this ceramic container and about a couple tablespoons of water, enough to basically cover the whole thing, and we're gonna mix that thoroughly. So we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of oil into the pot, and the first thing that I'm gonna add is the onions. So I'm just gonna add it to the pot and stir it for a little bit. We don't want it to get translucent yet. And then after we stir the onions a little, then we're gonna add the tomatoes next. And after we add the tomatoes, then we're going to add everything else. So this chickpea recipe is definitely a remake of a recipe that we usually do in Jamaica. If you don't have any food, if you don't have anything in your house, but all you have is sausage. So usually if you have nothing to eat, everyone usually have sausage. So we'll make this recipe with sausage and cut the sausage up, and we'll eat this with rice usually, or you can eat it with some dumplings, some boiled dumplings or fried dumplings, but this is just always hits the spot when you have nothing. The cheapest recipes is always one of the best recipes that you can definitely make, and it's just gonna make your day and you're not gonna feel unfulfilled after eating this. So now that the tomatoes, the onions, and everything is cooked a little bit in the pot, we're gonna add the drained chickpeas. So we're gonna stir it a little, and then we're going to add the seasonings. We're gonna add our black pepper, our adobo, our garlic powder. We're not gonna add the salt yet, but if we need to add the salt after everything else, we would add the salt. But that's not necessary. Then we're just gonna stir everything up, and after that, we're just gonna add the ketchup mixture that we did make earlier. And I forgot to mention, but we're also going to add about 1 tablespoon of whatever barbecue sauce that you prefer. I prefer the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, but you can add whatever barbecue sauce you prefer. And to the barbecue sauce, we're also going to mix that in that same container, and we're just going to add a little bit of water and then just add that mixture into the pot. So you're just going to watch me do all of this now and enjoy. I cannot repeat this enough, but please, please, please taste as you go along. The worst thing you can do is not taste your food, and then you have something that's either extremely under seasoning, under seasoned, and it does not taste good, or you have something that's too salty. You want to add the seasonings a little bit at a time, and then gradually add more as you see fit. So please taste as you go along. Please don't forget that. So after I add all the seasonings, I am tasting as I go along. And if I believe that I need more of the adobo or the black pepper or whatever seasonings, I'm just going to continually add whatever I need because you want it to be flavorful. And then after that, then we're just going to cover the pot and let it cook. So it's been about 5 to 6 minutes, and it is ready. Everything is cooked perfectly. I tasted it. Everything tasted fine, and it's just looking delicious and it's tasting delicious at this moment. So then we're just going to turn off the pot and set this aside for later on into the process. So now we're going to make the fried green plantains. And when we do make fried green plantains, after we fry it a little, we're gonna mash it. So we're gonna use paper towel, and we're gonna use the skins of the green plantains if you don't have any paper towel. I'm just gonna show you how to use both steps, and this is just gonna make everything much easier. So I added about 3 tablespoons of oil to the pot, and we're just gonna put all the green plantains in here to fry. And what we're doing is like it's kind of like blanching the fried green plantains because we don't want it to fry to get extremely brown. We're just frying it to soften the fried green plantains a little bit. So we're just frying it on each side until there's no more white showing. Then after there's no more white showing, then we're just going to take that out of the pot. So you're just going to see me flip it a couple times until it's ready. So if you look at it here, you can see that it's brown, it's not too brown. It can still get some color, but it's definitely ready to come out now. So now at this step, we're going to mash the fried green plantains. So this is just the color that you want after you fry it the first time. And then we're going to take a paper towel. We're going to take two paper towels, put it in half, turn it in half, and then turn it in another half. So we're gonna put the fried green plantains in between that paper towel, and we're gonna turn it the other side over, and then we're gonna mash it with our hands. And it is soft enough that we can do that. So if you see, it's flat and it's just perfect. And the next thing, some people have, if they make fried green plantains a lot, they have a masher for the fried green plantains that you can use, but it's not really necessary. And this step that we're going to show you, I'm going to show you now, is we're going to take the best fried green plantain, the green plantain skin, and we're going to put the green plantains in between that, and we're gonna mash it as you see in the video. And this is just a process that you can use if you don't have any paper towels or if you don't have a masher. This is just a much cheaper and simpler step to use, and you can see that you do get the same result. But I'm just going to continue using the paper towel method because I just feel like that's extremely better and more efficient for me. So now that we've mashed all our all our plantains, we're going to fry it, and I am using the same oil that I used earlier. So we're just gonna use the same oil and fry these, and you're gonna want to fry it until it's brown on each side, and then after it's brown on each side, everything is gonna be cooked because we did pre-fry it earlier, so it does not take that long to cook, especially because it's flat now. And then after we do fry it on both sides, then we're just gonna take everything out. As you can see right here, they are looking perfect. It's brown to the perfect darkness that I like, and then I'm just going to take it out and then add the others that I have to fry. So after you do take it out and after it's finished, then we're just going to add a little bit of sea salt on both sides of the fried green plantains. And this is just going to give it a little bit more flavor because it is bland. There's nothing on it. So this is perfect now.